everybody, SonGoshuaku here, and welcome to this WWE Royal Rumble 2021 review. Joining me, please welcome my guest. He has a very inspiring story. He's an independent professional wrestler and actor. Please welcome Rob Fury.
What is up, my friends? For those who do not know me, I am the mogul of hotness, the king of sexy, the crown prince of damn you're so fine, and the number one reason why the divorce rate in the United States is so high. The ASS arrogant superstar, Rob Fury, and I would like to say thank you for having me on today.
All right, I did not see the pre-show, and as a result, I missed that apparently Asuka and Charlotte Flair lost the titles to Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax because of, what does Aaron Riff from No DQ like to say? He calls it the stupid babyface syndrome, where the babyface gets distracted, even though if they get hit, it basically means they'll get disqualified and still retain the titles. So they basically did that. Quick audio correction right here. While there are definitely cases where you'll have the babyface get distracted when they could easily be disqualified, it was Ric Flair keeping the referee distracted, allowing Lacey Evans to come in with some brass knucks and basically knock out Charlotte Flair while she had applied her figure 8 lock. Listen, I think my boy, the man 0001, put it best. This whole storyline between Lacey, Ric Flair, and Charlotte is basically the PG version of Al Wilson, Tori Wilson, and Don Marie from back in the day. That being said, I said this with Noah of No DQ on our predictions video. This whole storyline to me has been something that honestly is it was kind of just a waste of time. They could have been utilizing so many other talented women on the roster for these tag team titles. They barely had Asuka and Charlotte intertwine with each other or interacted with one another, and then for them just to lose it back a month later to the same people, like, I don't know what they were doing. And they put it on the pre-show. Just having Asuka as the women's champion on the pre-show, just wow, after she's teared it down with Becky the past couple of years. But it is what it is. And so, yeah, I just want to see the tag team women's championship taken to a more serious level. Before we move on to the main show, Robbie, you got anything you want to add on about this pre-show?
Oh, yeah. I was not privy to the pre-show, and I'm very happy I was not privy to the pre-show because I called this tag team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, I call it the Brawn and the Botch. For the simple reason that the Brawn is Shayna Baszler and the Botch is Nia Jax, because she's a botch machine and nobody could botch like you. Oh baby. So I'm very glad that I missed that. I think it's actually a wrong thing for them to put one of your champions, especially one of your main champions, in a pre-show. It kind of just shows that they don't have any faith in not only that person, but the match as well. So, it's something that we could just, it's a gloss over. That's why it's in the pre-show, Like, I had more excitement from Sheamus kicking Daniel Bryan for those couple of seconds. And that's how much enjoyment I had in that match than I would have had watching this match. So.
Wow, yeah, and on the virtual party we were watching, I was the one that mentioned that when we saw that flashback. I'm like, that brings back horrible memories. So I know firsthand how much that must have really been bad for you to say something like that. But let's get on to the main show. So they kicked things off for the WWE Championship. Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. Now, listen, I grew up watching Goldberg, and I respect his contributions to the business and everything. And, I'm fine with them bringing Goldberg back. I do think there's value to have Goldberg come back and put over the new guys and everything. So I'm fine with that. It's just the way they've utilized them, like what they did with The Fiend, which I thought was the worst booking decision they made last year, was just, But they got this match out of the way. It went about a good 4 or 6 minutes, so it was short and to the point. Drew McIntyre,
too long.
The way still too long for Rob.
Too long.
So you basically hit him right off the bat with a spear, and I was like, oh, they're gonna have him squash Goldberg. I'm like, okay, fine, let's move on. But went out to the ring. Goldberg nailed him through the barricade. Then they got back in the ring. They were hitting more spears and more spears, and that's my problem with these matches is we see how well Drew McIntyre can actually go in the ring. So when he has to get in matches matches with Goldberg and just spam his finisher. It's like, Drew is so much more than that as a performer. But then, they had Goldberg hit the jackhammer, which was probably the best jackhammer Goldberg's hit to a big guy in probably a few years. I did notice Drew.
A few years. Okay.
A few years. Yeah, that Drew, I noticed Drew put his legs down first because it felt like to me, Drew was doing that because he's seen what happened. He's seen Goldberg get landed on his head. He's seen how he turned Bray into almost a brain buster. So I always felt like that was just Drew's feet was his insurance policy, basically, just in case Goldberg couldn't. Man, Goldberg back in the day was a beast the way he used to pick up like the Big Show for like 3 seconds and jackhammer, but it looks like that power's long gone now, unfortunately. I actually even thought it was funny the way Goldberg came out. It almost reminded me of Brock Lesnar's gear for a second there. But in the end, and they got me with the jackhammer. Drew kicks out Goldberg. Then from there, ended up getting more claymores and lost clean as a whistle. 1, 2, 3, a very rare occurrence in Goldberg's win. I'm like, it took that long. Finally, that's what I'm talking about. Put the new Lions over the old Lions. They keep wanting to bring in Goldberg because the rumors are for Vince McMahon saying that we're hearing that Vince says he feels there's nobody else that is picked up that's built up to be on Goldberg's level. And I'm like, well, how do you think Goldberg got to that level? You take these young guys and you build them up so that way you don't have to come crawling back to Goldberg. So I thought it was a step in the right direction there today, putting Drew McIntyre over. So I'm glad from that, and we'll see where it goes. All right, I could tell this has been ripping you apart, Rob.
No.
Let's hear it from you.
Let me first off, let me tell you that Goldberg is not as good as you make him seem to be. The man destroyed the best Canadian professional wrestler's career with one bad kick. If you're a professional, Bret Hart literally has wrestled thousands of matches and not injured one person. Okay, so let's. Okay.
Well, let me just be fair to say that when I talk about Goldberg, I by far know he's nowhere near the in-ring worker Bret Hart was. I'm being by contributions to his business as being a superstar. He helped bring in millions of fans. So that's the type of appreciation I bring. And I appreciate what Goldberg brought as far as the popularity of professional wrestling.
So basically, I would say that his contribution to professional wrestling is basically his hype. He was not really good in the ring. He was not a good talker at all. It was his hype. He had size, and Eric Bischoff was smart and said, "Hey, we grew this guy from our WCW power plant, so we're gonna bring him to you." Goldberg is on the level of Lex Luger, all hype, no talent, plain and simple. If anybody wants to talk to me about that, we'll have another conversation about that.
Yeah, feel free.
I think that Goldberg, he should not have been in the ring. Period. That spot should have gone to someone of an up and coming status or someone near Drew McIntyre status to actually, do something with it. Because once Goldberg's done, what does he need? Like you're saying it's like a passing of the torch or trying to help the young kids. I'm sorry, but talent wise, what the hell is he gonna give to the young guys? Nothing. Bret Hart, that's someone that could do something. Lance Storm, Christian Cage, as we saw. I guess we'll get to that later. But those are the wrestlers that can absolutely come in and actually help train, help show the kids and then you guys what's going on in the locker room, how to do it. But Goldberg, I don't feel like he's that type of person. I don't believe that him or any wrestler that's over 50 or these legends, they should come back for the simple reason that they've given what they have given to the wrestling business. Let the new breed take it upon themselves. That you had Macho Hogan, a Warrior, then you had Diesel, Shawn, Diesel and Shawn, and Yoko, and then you had The Rock, Stone Cold, and then you had like every generation had their stars. This generation's like a lot of the stars, they're not WWE bred like people that I mentioned. They're indie stars that have made their name somewhere else and came into the WWE. So that's why when you were like, oh yeah, Goldberg can provide, I'm like, he can't provide a single thing except, hey, you're big, do something, do 3 moves, and then and that's all he could give. But that's my take on that. Match should have been a squash match for Drew McIntyre. That's how you really put that guy over, because he's 50-something years old. You have your champion go and get the 50-year-old. How does that make your champion look?
Yeah, man, agree. In terms of like, yeah, the match, I wouldn't have minded a squash match. I wish the Fiend would have squashed him last year.
Yes.
What I mean in terms of bringing to the plate though is name value. There's a lot of casual fans out there who might not look at the in-ring aspect the way that we look at it, but they remember like, oh, back in the day, Goldberg. I used to watch that Goldberg guy, and they tune in and they see Goldberg lose to someone like Drew McIntyre. It's like, wow, this guy is awesome and everything. So that's what I mean is that he brings in the name value for, if anything other, it's a big name for someone to beat. And that's even if they're going to go there. I'm just saying the fact that they go there. I absolutely agree that, yeah, put someone else. Like they were building up Sheamus and Keith Lee all this time, and they just abandoned that and threw in Goldberg for it and everything.
But Keith Lee.
But yeah, if you're gonna go there with Goldberg, then at least do the right thing and have the young talent go over. No BS like what they did with the Fiend and everything. But yeah, man, I agree totally from an in-ring standpoint of where you're coming from. Let's move on to our next match here. We've got the women's championship match. Yeah, for the SmackDown Women's Champion. Sasha Banks defending the championship against Carmella. Sasha Banks has gotten recently, I think she's been getting one of the highest ratings for the women, and I know she's gotten some mainstream publicity by being on The Mandalorian, and yet WWE, maybe because they didn't get her that deal, they don't advertise it. But I think Sasha Banks has always had this great presence about her, from basically the whole package, the way she's presented. Like, she can be a big star in the women's division, and I wish WWE books her that. It is nice that the WWE is giving Sasha Banks a lengthy title reign, something I've been waiting to see for a long time, but I feel they need to push harder with this, and them having her basically play cat and mouse with Carmella's butler for this whole feud. Like, the women put on an excellent match at TLC, and I thought the match here was okay too. So there's definitely been some good matches. Carmella's definitely come a long way, I think, since her days in NXT, but I'm ready for this feud to end and for Sasha Banks to move on to different things, such as when we get to the winner of the Royal Rumble, because that's where I feel the big money match is for taking this women's division to the next level. But overall, it's okay for what it is. I'm glad Sasha Banks gets the title retained, and it's the end of this. But like I said, I thought the match was okay, and let's move on. Let's move Sasha Banks on to bigger, better things. And WWE, go ahead and please start presenting her like this next big star that I know she can be. Anything you'd like to add about this match, Rob?
Well, it was a very good match. Carmella, I would say that she is improving as a wrestler. Because from the time that she debuted to now, large improvement. The match was a little stale because it was just like there was not that many people invested in it. And to be honest, if I wanted to see a cameo from the Pope D'Angelo De Niro, I would actually ask for him, not Carmella's bootleg butler that kind of looks like the Pope D'Angelo De Niro. Okay, if you look at him, he looks like a smaller budget version of the Pope. All right, but with that, it was definitely a good match. Once we get to the Royal Rumble winner, we'll talk about how matchups are going to play out.
Good. All right. Well, then let's move on to the women's Royal Rumble match, which I was hoping actually was main eventing because of Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. I had the absolute most anticipation between this one. But let's go ahead. I will actually start off and say right now, I thought between the two, this was the better of the Royal Rumble matches. So starting off here, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm using NoDQ.com's actually results in here because there's so much stuff to remember. So I'm just going to go down the line, just talk about things that stood out to me here. So we had the match start off with Bianca Belair at number 3. Bayley was number 1, number 2. I always say you just know whoever the first few entrances are going to be. They're going to be the workhorses of the Rumble. They're going to be the ones going long. Naomi, it was great to see Naomi back. So they had some really good stuff going on here.
Those were the first 3. It was Bayley, Naomi, and Bianca Belair, man. Number 3, Bianca Belair. Love that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And she was my pick to win. We'll get to that later. Billie Kay, I really like the way they utilize Billie Kay on here. There's a YouTuber on here by the name of OTR Central, Schleg Daddy of OTR Central, and he brought a good point up about how Billie Kay was the victim of WWE's ridiculous booking decision to split the Iconics up when there was and put them with makeshift tag teams when they already had the built-in chemistry. But she is taking this gimmick, which is ridiculous, but she's making it work. And I like like the way they utilize comedy in here. There's a part where she teamed up with Jillian Hall. I was like, I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be marking out for Jillian Hall's return. When you hear that, and you want me, that was hilarious. Oh, back in the day, she stayed in there for a good while, so it was cool to see her. You had Shayna Baszler come in, wasn't as dominant. There wasn't too many women dominating. We had some Shotzi Blackheart. I saw we had Riot Squad come in. One thing that really popped me, and this is really good with you two, Rob, being a part of Too Sweet Cosplay, Victoria, Lisa Marie, coming back as Victoria. For years we were wondering, oh, man, why is WWE not utilizing her? And a lot of us at Too Sweet Cosplay, because she came to one of the meetups, met her, and me and the man 0001, we met her again at WrestleCon. She remembered us and everything, and really cool person, and really good to see her back in WWE getting some moment to shine. That was awesome.
Also forgot to mention that Tori Wilson made another appearance in the Royal Rumble, as she's done so over the last several years, making appearances with the WWE ever since the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble match a few years ago, and definitely she was still looking very much ageless.
We got Rhea Ripley coming back in here. That was cool.
She did damage.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley was the one who dominated this Rumble for sure. So I guess this is her official debut on the main roster. Number 15 hits Charlotte Flair, and I'm like, this is the part where this is where you get on edge, and because you're like, all right, are they gonna do it with Charlotte Flair? I still can't get used to Lacey Evans coming out and it just does not match in the Ric Flair robe. It was great to see Mickie James come in. Some other cool. We got Alicia Fox and R-Truth. That was a little funny spot. R-Truth forgetting what Rumble he was. Funny enough, he was not even in the men's Rumble. And one of the things they had Alicia win the 24/7 title and then roll up R-Truth outside the ring. We had other women entering like Dakota Kai, Mandy Rose. Tamina came out at number 25, even though she lost
You just like totally glossed over like history, the first ever title win during a Royal Rumble. Alicia Fox winning the 24/7 championship.
Well, you'll have to forgive me, Rob. I've kind of worn thin with the 24/7 title, so I just bounced back. But you're right. That is history groundbreaking. We had a 24/7 title match and the Rumble going on at the same time. One of the things that was really cool here, I forgot to mention, they were doing a lot of cool athletic stuff with Bianca and Naomi. I was cracking up the part where Bianca's almost eliminated. It's Naomi who crawls up Bianca's hair, and they both end up getting in there. That was hilarious. What else did we have going on? Lana came in, was more serious, it looked like. I'm glad they gave us the moment where she eliminated Nia Jax. That was really cool.
Audio add-on here is during the discussion with Rob, I forgot to mention that number 27 entrance was Alexa Bliss. I have been a huge fan of everything that they've been doing with Alexa Bliss's character. She is absolutely knocking it out of the park with her performance, and I've been a fan of what they've been doing with Asuka and her, and just how this new transformation of the Fiend is so strong that it's just basically been dominating Asuka, and I've been loving how they're showing that, hey, the real Alexa Bliss is still in there somewhere, but she's just completely controlled by the Fiend right now. So when Alexa Bliss came out, you knew she would have got a big pop had we had audiences there. She came down and she was knocking down women left and right, and to the point everyone ganged up on her because they've seen the supernatural stuff that she's been doing on Monday Night Raw. And then the transformation starts to go down where the lights go out and everyone starts backing up, I think. But it was Rhea, before the transformation can happen, throws her over the ropes, and that's it, and it's back to the action. For someone who they've put so much stock into recently with building her up to the degree that they've built her up with for Alexa Bliss, like I said, she was one of my favorites heading into this Royal Rumble, so it's very disappointing to see that that's how they're going to utilize her in the Rumble. I was booing doing this decision because I wanted to see some of that hocus pocus sports entertainment stuff. I was always wondering if they were going to like pre-tape the ending of the Rumble match and have like Alexa constantly get tossed out, but then they use some editing tricks and everything to make it seem like she keeps teleporting into the ring. Like I said, her or Bianca were my top two for the picks of the Rumble. So really disappointing, but hopefully they've got something big for her and Asuka planned. But I wouldn't be surprised if they put the title on Charlotte Flair and have her and Rhea go at it though.
Ember Moon came in there, didn't last too long because I was like, oh, I thought Ember Moon wanted to be on NXT, but it's cool to see her hit the Eclipse. Of course, they were going to need to grab as many women as they could from NXT. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they were to me in this Rumble, they were a lot like the Big Show and Kane in the 2015 Rumble, where people were just booing when Nia came out. Well, they virtually put it in there, but we know that's exactly what the fans would have done. And they're just throwing everybody out, all the favorites and everything. Natalya comes out at the end, and it gets down to the final four. Before we conclude with the final four here, I'll let you go on, Rob. Any moments you like to share that you really enjoyed throughout this women's Rumble match before we get to the final four?
The women's Rumble match altogether was very exciting. I just hope Ember Moon changes her finisher, because that is going to completely destroy her hips and her spine. After just a couple of years, man. You look at Stone Cold, look at The Rock. I mean, Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan.
Eight back surgeries.
Yeah. So many back surgeries. Why? Just compressing that disc every single time. Stone Cold even said he just fell on his butt, and he's like, as stupid than I ever did. The damn stunner. Mess up my damn back and whatnot. Stone Cold says so. So it's like, so it's like, but one thing I'm like looking at everybody that came in here, it was really interesting. What's it called? Shotzi Blackheart's like entrance with the Tank Girl thing.
This yeah, she almost blasted off Billy Kay's head.
I was like, that was interesting. But besides that, like, I enjoyed this Rumble a lot, and especially that they gave what's her face Rhea Ripley a lot of good time and made her look very, 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 very strong. So I'm happy about that.
Good, man. And let's talk about that final four. And I thought was a really impressive final four. You got the veteran in Natalya. You got Charlotte Flair, who I kind of say was there to basically sort of troll the audience, because if the fans were there in attendance, they'd be booing. I like Charlotte Flair, but the way WWE books her, and sometimes I think it could be way too much. And then you had Bianca and Rhea, who definitely would have been the favorites. This was one heck of a showing. Natalya got eliminated. All the hype. This is why nobody ever cares about number 30. They just care about the surprise. But she comes out at number 30, and I thought she cut a really good promo they put on WWE.com and social media, and she's eliminated. She didn't get much time in this at all. And the way they did Charlotte and teasing that Charlotte was going to eliminate either, Bianca and Rhea, who she both defeated towards WrestleMania season. I thought the way they did Charlotte's elimination was great. This is where you really wish there were fans, because if there was fans in attendance, the pop would have been out. I got out of my couch. Crazy. I was like, yes. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the Goldberg and Drew McIntyre. In order to get these people to a new star level, you got to push the new talent. Charlotte Flair, like I said, I think she's good. But the thing is, they've been pushing her so strong for the last 5 years, and I wish she would actually change from the Queen gimmick. So it was just a great moment to see Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, these two superstars who have been built, like you're talking about, from the independent scene. I think Bianca went straight to WWE, but they built her up basically from the ground up, and to see them right here highlighted in the main event of this women's Rumble as the final two was awesome. And just the counters, just the way they kept eliminating her. There was one part where they almost eliminated each other, and Rhea's like, just slow down. We'll roll in and finish this. And at this moment, I was like, Bianca, just kick her in the face. And it was good. And to see Bianca get the win, I was running all over my living room. I was like, yes. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, that's how you build a star. Because I said, Bianca is the total package. She's got the charisma. She's got the athleticism. She has that star power that just says, like, she is the baddest woman in the SmackDown land. And that's what
leads me. Is the BEST?
There you go. And then we have a woman who calls herself the boss and thinks that she is the baddest woman in the land. This is something that I think could possibly reach casual fans or mainstream audience. Like, who are these two women that are talking all this trash and talking like they're the best, and you want to see them go at it at WrestleMania? That is the match that I feel they should do at WrestleMania. And as long as they present both of these as two big, larger than life stars, we've got it there. I am looking forward to this match. Bianca Belair, awesome. I felt the emotion from her promo. I will say this, it does kind of slightly concern me, like what they did with Sasha Banks early on. Like, Sasha would come out, talk about, she's boss this, boss that, and as soon as she wins the title, she would cry and talk about she was a little girl. I wouldn't mind if they keep that for like the backstage interviews, but have like Bianca Belair like, yep, I won. And like when Steve Austin won the championship, he's like, my name is Steve Austin, I busted my ass for 8 years to get this opportunity. He was happy, but he had such conviction. I remember Mark Henry winning the championship, and he was like, he said, this is my moment, and I ain't sharing with none of you. Obviously, she's the baby face, but I would love to see them at least maintain that sort of toughness about Bianca and everything. But you could tell the emotion meant a lot for her, and it was great. Like, this was a really good, solid women's Royal Rumble. I'm going to put it up there with one of the best. It had great moments, some legends, some funny moments, utilizing the right talent. The suspense was there. I really loved it. Excellent job. And it was so great that I almost forget there was no crowd in attendance and we were listening to virtual reactions and stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I can't say enough good things. This is moments like this with Bianca winning remind me of why I am so proud to be a professional wrestling fan. In WWE, we don't get these moments all the time. They're far and few in between, but when we do it, it is great. Rob, what was your thoughts on the conclusion of this Rumble?
This Rumble definitely, it encapsulated the crazy and amazing birthday weekend I've had this weekend. I had not only like my faith in Bianca Belair, when she, and on top of that, I kind of bet in a Rumble pool that, and then my number came up number 3. I was like, hell yeah, I got the best choice ever. And literally, when I saw the last 3, I'm like, they better not give it to Charlotte.
Yeah.
They better not give it to Charlotte. And then Charlotte goes out. I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm like, I don't even care if I lose right now and I lose my money. Whoever wins, that they both deserve to be where they're at right now. I don't care whoever wins, I'm going to root for whoever. And then Bianca, oh man, she did it. And I was so ecstatic. First, because I won. 2, because she won. 3, because we both won. And it's like, it was a great feeling. And on top of that, like, seeing her speech, like me being a wrestler myself and like winning titles, like I cried even coming back from an injury, being back in the ring. It's a very emotional moment. And like people are like, oh, well, belts are just props. No, belts are a symbol of, the company trusting you and putting their faith in you. And that is, as a professional wrestler, that is like one of the biggest honors you could ever get. So, for her to get, you can never take this Royal Rumble win away from her. If she never does anything else in her career in the WWE and completely flounders here, but flourishes elsewhere like New Japan or wherever, you can never take away that she is a WWE Royal Rumble winner. She deserves it. And now with what you were talking about the matchup, I quite frankly wouldn't even go to Sasha. I would go to Asuka, have her take the belt from Asuka and build both of them up. And then when we have another round robin, like whatever trade bull crap that they always do, WWE, the weekend roundup or the trade draft or whatever stupid gimmick they want to do to have other people switch sides for that present moment. I feel that's when they're going to have champion versus champion. Mm-hmm. And then one of them is going to lose. And then that's when they could go against each other. Or I say, have her beat Asuka, then Night of Champions have champion versus champion. That would just be a great match. And it doesn't even have to be for belts, just champion versus champion. The best versus the boss, the proper way. Both champions, both the queen bees of their brand going against each other. I don't want them to go for the same belt. I want them to be propped up in their individual brands, representing their individual brands.
You know, if WWE still believed in long-term storytelling, I'd be totally down with that, Rob. But sometimes, I mean, they couldn't even wait till WrestleMania to do Bayley and Sasha. They blew right through that, and so you know, that would be an awesome
Raws
idea.
Did you see that on?
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
Monday Night Raws you saw that for free?
Right. So, you know, that would be a fantastic idea if I had faith in the WWE system to do that. One thing I will like to say, because I'm such huge when it comes to storytellings first, when it comes to wrestling, I appreciate the consistency. It makes sense that Bianca, who was so close to winning last year, or at least dominated most of last year, this year goes on to win. So it's like saying that, then I guess that ended up being that's a big thing right there to show that, hey, okay, someone who last year dominated, has such a huge performance in the Rumble, they can go on and win it. It just shows you they got better, like there was that progression. So I appreciate that storytelling element. So yeah, definitely. It's, I think, one of probably one of my favorites. I don't know, for me, it might be my second favorite Women's Royal Rumble. The first one was just so great with so many emotions, but I'm glad that they've been able to build up a lot of women's where they didn't have to rely so heavily on the past. All right, let's move on to the WWE Universal Championship match. Kevin Owens versus the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. As I have mentioned many times on here in my podcast, I have absolutely loved what they've done with Roman Reigns' character, letting him be himself. This Tribal Chief gimmick is just fantastic.
Head of the table.
What they've done, yeah, definitely. The head of the table, so much a better name than calling him the big dog. I think Paul Heyman, Jey Uso, everything's just been really fantastic about this. The only problem I had with this story is that I felt it went a little too long, just because after the TLC match was awesome, and then they did the steel cage match, which was awesome, and then they dragged it on longer, and the promos were good, everything was good, but it's like just too much of a good thing. Too much of a good thing is too much. I think this is their second last man standing match, because they hadn't won it 4 years in a Rumble. But once again, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns went out there and proved that no matter whether it's babyface Owens versus heel Reigns, or heel heel Owens versus babyface Reigns, vice versa, whether they're vice versa, heel or face, they have really great chemistry. And this match, while I don't think I was as emotionally invested, because I was just kind of ready for this feud to move on as the other matches, they went out there and still surprised me on moments, just fighting up on top of some of the higher platforms of the Thunderdome screens, and throwing Kevin Owens taking a major throw off of there, blast through the table. I like that Roman went ahead and took a page out of his cousin's card and ran over KO, and I mean, you saw him blast through that glass. I was like, oh, okay. And then
I did it for Roman. I did it for the people.
There you go. And he did it. Also, on top of that, then when KO started going to the forklift, I'm like, is this like the greatest hits of Austin and Triple H's feud from 99, 2000 with all the vehicular attempted murders? He goes up there and does a cool looking, they did the visuals also cool, where they were looking up, and he does the frog splash, the senton bomb. Bomb through the splash on the table. Roman was taking a beating at points and was bleeding from the mouth, side, the head. So I was like, okay, he is taking it to Roman. And they did a really cool spot where Roman gets handcuffed to the bottom of one of the lights, and the referee's counting like 3, 4. I'm like, okay, I guess he's gonna put both his feet on flat and like do a bridge up, and it's like 8, 9, and he's panicking, so he grabs the referee, and great bump by the referee. He just blasts him right into the light and went out there. And I'm like, okay. They even did where he did the spot, the spear through the stage, which I'll say is cool, but it really could use the fireworks going off like they've done before with Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. But eventually Roman gets free, and he ends up putting the guillotine on Kevin Owens, puts him to sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's over. The Tribal Chief retains the championship, as I think he should. Overall, good match. These guys have great chemistry, but I'm ready to end this feud, and let's see Roman, like Sasha Banks, move on to better things and stuff like that. But overall, for what it was, match was had some exciting moments. It had its moments.
Young sir, good match, but horrible ending.
Horrible ending. All right, let's hear it. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this match?
The ending was absolutely horrendous, because you're gonna go on the internet right now, ladies and gentlemen. By the time that you hear this and you see this, you're gonna be on the interwebs, and it's gonna be floating around how they could not get the cuffs off of Roman Reigns in time, and the ref starts counting and just immediately stops right in the middle.
I must have missed that spot. Okay, yeah, I must have missed that spot. You know,
the ref
I
is
did,
counting, and he's like,
Yeah, I did turn my head and went to my kitchen for a brief second. So when I came back, I saw Roman was free. I missed that botch because I didn't hear the commentators talking about it. So that's probably why.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
They couldn't get, and we're just like, oh, and like in the Zoom chat, we're like, did the ref just stop?
Which goes against the referees. They're told to call it like it's a shoot. So just like they did with the no DQ, the DQ or no, the count out on Raw with Shayna Baszler, she couldn't get in time, and you just counted it like, oh, but yeah, they knew. Oh, the referee probably didn't want to face Vince McMahon's wrath. You can't be counting Roman out.
Yeah, he's like 3, 4. Achoo. Oh, I sneeze. I think I'm out. Ref bump.
Wow.
Nah, but yeah, I'm ready for the feud to move on. I'm ready for a new feud, something new with Roman, something new with Kevin. Kevin Steen. Yeah. Kevin Owens. I'm sorry. Jeez.
We all know it. Same thing.
Sorry. So yeah, I'm ready for them to move on.
Quick audio add on here, just to let you all know that I did go back to watch the part that I missed in between the time that Roman had blasted the initial referee into the Triton, the part of the Titantron, and the ending of where he puts the guillotine on KO. And yeah, that was bad. Man, I counted to about 24, 25 seconds that it took Roman to finally get free there or back on his feet, and you clearly see the referee at about the 6 count struggle and not know what to do and just basically no sells the count. Oh man, that was crazy. Yeah, a really bad ending to an otherwise pretty good feud between Roman and KO. Honestly, I would have felt much better if they used the gimmick handcuffs or something for Roman to break out of, and everything would have been much better.
We did get a performance. I gotta imagine what's it like to talk to. What is it like? Well, yeah, this plays a part in the Rumble. The performance they had by Bad Bunny, and I was like, easy as payday for Booker T just to sit there. I wanted Booker T to dance. I wanted Booker T to dance just because he was dancing and cracking me up on backstage. But man, I think Booker T also making his GI Bro debut in WWE. He just had to stand there. I'm like, nice payday for him. But yeah, basically.
40,000. There you go.
Later on, The Miz and John Morrison were talking crap, and they kind of teased like Booker T was going to be in the Rumble, but this played a role later on, which we'll get to with the Rumble. But I got to imagine it's got to be weird performing in front of no audience and everything and stuff like that. Before we move on to the men's Rumble, I take it you did not like this at all, Rob.
It has to be weird to perform when nobody wants you to perform. That's the question. That's the thing. Nobody wanted him there, and then literally, talking in the Zoom chat, and people were like, "Oh yeah, they got him because he has a song that says, 'Can you dig it, sucker?' And that's the only reason why he's associated with the WWE. That, and he's a big wrestling fan. So yeah, music performances in WWE pay-per-views, don't want them, don't need them. Please, let's move on."
Well, hey man, it's not like the DX band from WrestleMania 14. Like, I love their DX the DX song, Break It Down, but when they did the national anthem, I think that was one of the funniest, most professional calls from Jim Ross ever, where his only reaction was, "Only in America will you have this much freedom. This is WrestleMania 14. Like, Jim Ross, he wanted to be polite, but he didn't want to. He wanted to tell it like it was. Like, that was awesome. That's why Jim Ross was a GOAT. Speaking of Jim Ross, did anyone notice for the video package all the great iconic moments with Jim Ross voiceover they replaced with voiceovers of King? Is it that bad just because he's in AEW? Like, come on. Jim Ross is iconic. At least have those moments. But let's move on to the men's Royal Rumble, which was the main event. But I was going to say Kofi Kingston For Kofi Kingston, they almost teased. I was like, oh, we're gonna get some cool Kofi spots, which is sad now because shout out to our boy Nico of Too Sweet Cosplay. He was wondering who's going to do the Kofi Kingston spot, and I said, you know what, it might be John Morrison, and they didn't do anything athletic with John Morrison here. They just had to get thrown out.
Was there a Kofi spot this year?
No, I thought they would have done it with John Morrison, but they didn't.
Or was it the AJ spot with that big tall black dude that's like half black, half giraffe?
Almost. Oh, I'll get to him. That was one of the things that infuriated me about that Rumble. But yeah, we had Edge and Randy Orton starting off as number 1 and 2, which they had stated on backstage. And I figured Edge would be in there because ever since Edge came back, his biggest thing has been showing that he can go in hour-long matches and everything. So I figured he would want to go in here.
I forgot to mention during the discussion that Edge just blazed for Randy Orton before he could even get to the ring. And I like this psychology. You know, when you have a grudge feud going on, well, there's nothing worse than seeing two wrestlers do a collar and elbow tie up. No, Edge came after, like, you know, you took months off of my career after my comeback, and that's what I love, man. Edge is just a great storyteller.
We had Sami Zayn, number 3, who I thought has been hilarious with the whole doing the documentary Ali. So I was complaining about this. Like, Ali comes in, and instead of going after Randy Orton, who was the guy that legitimately bashed his face in, that kept him from his WrestleMania moment, he instead goes after Edge, and it's like, hey, and I know my friend SMP was saying that, well, hey, he's heel, he can't go after Orton, but it's like, let's get some consistency here. He should be after both. He should be after Randy for doing the deed and mad at Kofi for capitalizing. We had Jeff Hardy in her. I don't think Jeff Hardy did. Yeah, he didn't do much in this.
He did zero.
Yeah, I was like, I forgot Jeff Hardy was even in here. Like, wow. And then you had Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler's talented, but man, the way they utilize this guy, it's just like it's kind of like he's just there now, and everything. And we had a lot of people entering.
I'm here to collect a paycheck. I'm here to collect a paycheck. Oh, dang! Get me now.
We had Nakamura enter. And the thing about Nakamura, and I said the same thing with Cesaro, I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm not going to let them give these mini pushes to them and let it distract me. I'm like, they're just doing this to probably throw us off about Daniel Bryan and everything. So I'll enjoy it while it lasts. So yeah, but they did have Nakamura and Cesaro have some good showing. This was a great moment. Another one that got me marking out was Carlito. We had heard so many times over the years where they were thinking about trying to bring Carlito back in, and every year it seemed like he wasn't coming back, and finally did. But we didn't get an Apple spot. Maybe it was not PG enough, but it would have been cool. Yeah, we were like, that wasn't cool.
Yes. I'm telling you right now, I understand the situation why Carlito said, because he said he's never going back. I bet you this is what happened. Carlito was like, yo, hey Vince, listen, papi, right? We in COVID right now, right? So I can't do no mouth spitting because, you know, it's COVID, but I come back because I need the money. And bam, that's why he's back. And that's why they didn't do the mouth spitting thing, because it's COVID time, bro.
Right, definitely. The thing about it, you mentioned, I'm like, that's not something, even though I know they're all tested and everything, that's definitely something you don't want to be. That's probably why they haven't had Asuka do her miss. You don't want to do that around.
No, people would have screamed. People would be screaming. Why are they spitting in somebody's face?
Definitely. See, man, this whole pandemic made me forget about Awesome. Like, one of the things we loved about Carlito, like, he got spitting apples in someone's face over. But it was great to see Carlito. I loved how even Corey Graves on cover, he's like, whoa, look at that shit. Carlito's in. That was great, man.
And we had a proper backstabber today. Proper backstabber.
See, that's my thing where I was wondering, you know, this company with WWE, they do certain things where they having him spam that all over just to remind him, like, hey, Jericho wasn't the first to do that. That was cool. What else we get here? Oh yeah, they took Randy Orton out early in the match, and you know, when in our live virtual chat we were watching with our friends, I was telling everybody, reminding everyone constantly, don't let any of this distract you that Randy Orton is not coming back out here. I know he is. Yeah, he's gonna come. Xavier Woods, Big E had a great showing, I thought, in this Rumble set. That was really cool, and they eliminated Ali. I didn't like how they had Ali cowering in the corner. Like, it's just more the reason that you can't take Retribution series. I felt Retribution is such wasted potential. If they would have built this right and had them have a big story, and they would have kept the title on Randy Orton, they could have told that story about how he wants revenge against Xavier Woods and then Randy Orton and go for the title. But that is what it is from here. You had Miz and John Morrison. So I mentioned Miz earlier. He comes out and destroys Bad Bunny's DJ stuff. Maybe it was fake equipment, or maybe it was the real deal, because we certainly know the WWE, with that $1 billion they're about to get for being on Peacock, certainly has plenty of money to replace it. And I didn't know if they were going to try to give him in the Rumble, but they had Damian Priest eliminate both them, and Damian Priest got a lot of shine in this, and I was glad to see that. You know, he was treated a lot like Rhea Ripley, so that was really cool.
Also forgot to mention, after Miz and Morrison were eliminated by Damian Priest, Bad Bunny jumped off the top rope and did a dive onto him, and even though he almost slipped off the ropes on the way down, I can say he executed his better than Snoop Dogg did at AEW Dynamite.
Daniel Bryan was being an Iron Man through all of it. They gave Matt Riddle a lot of shine, and they gave Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that's my bro. Number 3, bro.
Yeah, they gave Matt Riddle and Daniel Bryan a lot of time to fight, so that was really cool. We got Kane in there, who I really think was only in this for the 20th anniversary of him dominating the 2001 Rumble. I think he got one more elimination. He was eliminated by Damian Priest, which I was glad to see, because that's more what I was talking about, which was a nice
I was about
theme.
to say Damian Priest is like the Puerto Rican Kane now.
but you know what? This is what I'm talking about. You're going to have a big guy like Damian Priest use the older veteran big guy and have him get tossed out by the newer one. Like another,
that's the proper way.
A great theme that I was seeing, where they were putting a lot of the young talent over the older talent until, well, we probably get to the end, but more about that soon to come.
You know what though? You know what? Never mind.
Well, let's go. We'll finish up with this. Corbin was eliminated. Yeah, he came out around 19 and
one of the best big men in the WWE.
Nakamura. Corbin gets a lot of hate and everything, and I think maybe it's just the storylines they book him in. But one of the things great about this guy is, like, he's come so comfortable in being a heel, and I'm like, he gets legitimate heel heat, which is a lost art in professional wrestling nowadays. So that was good. Lashley, freaking Bobby Lashley, came out and lived up to the name Destroyer. He just came in and started tossing dudes. Like it looked brutal. He threw Dominic out and everything, and he took out Priest. So I really appreciate that.
But yet again, when he was getting eliminated, he did look like one of the Fall Guys characters, though.
The poor Hurricane Helms. He's made so many appearances throughout the decades in different eras in wrestling. Shout out to WrestleMania, who I think made a video. It was either Cultaholic or WrestleMania. One of them made a video speaking about the worst participants in terms of their eliminations, and Hurricane Helms, and is still holding true here, has out of all the Rumbles he's been, he has yet to eliminate one person. Wow. And he keeps going back to the same spot, just like Triple H. Triple H and Austin, double chokeslam, getting thrown out. Hopefully in his career, Hurricane Helms will get at least one elimination in the Rumble and celebrate Kurt Angle style before getting thrown out again.
I got a question. Has the Brooklyn Brawler had an elimination? I believe he has at least one elimination.
I don't even remember, and I've watched every Rumble match.
And I think I strongly feel like the Brooklyn Brawler had one elimination, and that's sad that the Hurricane has not had one elimination, but the Brooklyn Brawler has.
But he gets a big pop. That just shows how good of an impact the character had on us. Christian, this was my big mark out when I was getting out, and I was just running up there like, oh snap, I never thought we'd see Christian in the ring. And I love this, because this was something that one of my biggest pet peeves that I see from a psychology standpoint when it comes to Royal Rumble. I do not understand why teams and factions feel this need to eliminate everybody and then eliminate each other. Like, no, wouldn't it make the most sense to work together to the very end and then eliminate each other? And I don't know why Shayna and Nia before that were going at it. I think I've only seen it twice, where 09 Randy Orton and Legacy, and then in 2011 CM Punk with his new Nexus, they all worked together until they were eliminated. And in Randy Orton's case, it worked to his victory. But Edge and Christian, they were a cohesive unit through this entire match, and I love it. That is what you should do. It would make sense if you and I are best friends. Let's team up on everybody and then go at it in the end. So I really love that. Christian had a good showing, man. This is good, and this gives me hope that we'll get that Christian Christian and Edge match that I think was rumored. Like, I think Edge wanted to have one more year and then retire against Christian. So I would love to see this. Like, it is great to see Christian back, and he was hanging in there. Looked like he didn't miss a step. So that was the nice, pleasant surprise. One of those great moments. Like, you knew he would have gotten Edge's moment from last year had we had the crowd, man.
You know, I'm gonna have to say,
especially that hugging moment. Oh man, fans would have lost it.
Edge and Christian right now, they're so old. I'm gonna rename them the geriatrics.
Oh wow.
Because I'm sorry. Like, I am going to say this once and I will say it again, especially when we get to the results of the Rumble. It should have been given to one of the guys that are up and coming, have been fully established or in a position to become established. Guys that are extremely established, that have been here and have a legacy here, do not need to have such a spotlight in the Rumble.
Are you talking about Christian in terms of like Christian's spot in the Rumble where he came in as a surprise?
I'm not talking about him.
Oh, we're talking about the end result later. Okay,
yes,
gotcha. We'll get to that.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, we haven't seen Christian in almost a decade. I was glad to see him in a wrestling capacity.
He was cool. Listen, Royal Rumble, that's totally fine. Have fun in the Royal Rumble. You know, 1 to 2 tag matches, great. Don't tell me that we're gonna put you in a serious position to like go for the belt. Like, you're over 50 or close to 50. Give it to one of the guys that could really actually put in the work and actually do a good long run. Not like Goldberg defended like 2-3 times in like a couple of months, and then bam, that did nothing for the company, nothing for you, nothing for the belt, nothing for the people around it. You know?
For sure. And then let me go ahead and go here. We had AJ Styles anniversary, who's had an incredible run in WWE, which I'm so grateful for after having seen his awesome run in TNA. I'm glad to see that he was one of the people that didn't get screwed over with bad booking. And Rey Mysterio here, and this is the big thing. Almost and man, it almost I have never ever throughout all the time in the Rumble, and they like to pick and choose years where it counts and it doesn't count. I have never ever been a fan of someone being eliminated by someone who is either already eliminated in Rumble or has no business. And the referees are sitting like, how does that count? How does that count? Like, it makes no sense to me. He's just over here throwing dudes out. Rey Mysterio threw him out. Who did he almost eliminate? There was a big one. I think it was Big E, just threw him out. Like, that was such BS. Like, I couldn't say it. And then he never gets his comeuppance. Like, when they had Braun Strowman, who eventually came out, I would have loved if Braun Strowman threw him in the ring and picked him up and did something with like a one of those running body slams on him.
No, that would result into good booking from the WWE.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't have nice things, sadly, like that.
Even in a Rumble that's only an hour long.
All right,
like, come on, people.
Cesaro came out at number 28, and he was on fire. He had a great performance. We got a repeat of when he threw Big Show out of that Battle Royal, where I thought he was going to take Braun out, but that was cool. He spun Daniel around. I think I heard you in the video, Jack, say, "Oh man, I'm dizzy from watching that."
Yep.
That was cool. Seth Rollins came out to his Messiah theme. I agree with what I saw. One of the team members in No DQ said that it would have been awesome had he came out to his old Burn It Down theme. But I mean, with the crowd, they would have given him. And Seth was smart. He got thrown under the rope, and for the longest time, he was just sitting there, like just waiting for the right moment. So that was really cool psychology from him, and everything. Let's see, what else did we get here? I think that was it. Yeah, it came out with Braun Strowman. So yeah, we had a lot of people left in the tournament. It was getting really good. I mean, in the Rumble, and they were getting eliminated. Final four came down to Edge, Christian, Strowman, and Rollins, and of course Randy Orton. Because Daniel Bryan got eliminated by, who was he eliminated by? Yeah, Rollins. He did the curb sign, eliminated Bryan. That was my number one pick because Bryan hadn't won. So at this point, I'm like, wow. So Christian's the only person here who has never won a Rumble match. And top of that, I didn't, as much as Graves was to see Christian, he's not someone I had that I wanted to see planned to be in one of the main championship matches. Before we get to the finals, did you have any moments that maybe I didn't touch on throughout this men's Rumble?
Oh, any moments? No.
Because I don't think this one stood out as much as the women's Royal Rumble. It was kind of like they just had everybody come out and everything. It was pretty standard stuff.
The only thing I can think of is probably the whole stick with AJ's bodyguard, which was that was just so frustratingly annoying. Like if you're gonna do that, have him win the whole Rumble. You know, if you're gonna literally say it's literally going to be a 2-on-1 the whole entire time, have him win the Rumble. But you
Yeah,
don't like you do an okey doke fake. Like, come on, get out of here with Braun Strowman. Like, oh, you thought I was gonna throw it to you? Nope, never mind. I threw him the other way, and it looked piss poor too. Him doing it. So it's like, ugh, whatever.
Yeah, I think I heard they keep him limited. I was laughing because I'm like, man, he's one of the other guys. Like I was saying, Booker T, he gets a great easy payday. Like before that, all they did was just have him stand in front of the Raw Underground door, and then he just stands out there with AJ Styles. Like rarely gets physical. Some of the cool stuff they've done has been really cool with him, but you can tell where it's like they don't want to expose him in ring yet and stuff like that. So hey, let him get his training in at the Performance Center and see if he can become a great big man like the Big Show. Because for as much people want to crap on the Big Show, man, that guy, charisma, he can play so many different roles. He's super athletic for his size. And in fact, he can still go 20 minutes in a match. Like, yeah, I mean, Big Show, let's not let his booking of good babyface and heel distract you just how good Big Show is for a guy his size. Final four comes down to Edge, Christian Strowman, and Rollins, as I was saying. And from there, it looks like Rollins was he was teaming up with Strowman. And Strowman, I think, he gets eliminated. He went out by him and Christian. Yeah, went out when was it Rollins threw him out? I think no Edge I forget which one of them got thrown out. But it comes down to Edge and Rollins, and I was really hoping they were gonna have this cool stare off. It's like like several years in the making from when Christian when Rollins threatened to smash Edge and his neck in, but they just went right to it, and I think he threw Rollins out in reverse, and the people's like, oh, did Edge win? And out of nowhere, Randy Orton comes back. I'm like, yeah, okay. And for the moment they have him, like, they're gonna have Randy Orton tie Steve Austin with a third Rumble win. But no, it was not to be. Edge tossed Randy out, and Edge, 11 years after he did it at the 2010 Rumble, wins his second Royal Rumble match. So he goes down in history winning 2010 and 2021. Nice Rumble match. Nice solid show. And listen, I grew up as a kid watching Edge in the Attitude Era and followed him throughout the Ruthless Aggression Era as a teenager.
That's great.
Freaking love Edge. Definitely, I think he's an all-time great. Yeah, all-time great. I remember my buddy, the man 0001. I was like, remember 11 years ago, me, him, and our other friend Lynx, we were going crazy when Edge came back and won in 2010. He's like, look, man, different circumstances 11 years ago. And that was just my way of trolling him, though. But that being said, I want to emphasize here that I do love Edge as a performer and everything he's contributed to the business, but this was not necessary. There is a reason why I have been going on saying that I didn't want to see a repeat. And I know I might sound like a hypocrite because Stone Cold Steve Austin's my all-time favorite, and he won 3 of them. But I just feel back in the 90s when Shawn and Hogan and I know Rob probably felt Hogan shouldn't have won a second Rumble and everything like that.
Shouldn't have run a Rumble, period.
and everything.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, but you know what? The talent back then in the 90s wasn't as stacked in terms of like quantity. In terms of quantity, there was much more star power, of course, in the 90s. But now there's so many more larger of a roster that I feel we don't really need to have repeat Rumbles. And they did it again with Edge, and they were on such a great streak in the last several years having new people win. I just didn't think Edge needed it. He's an established star. You could have told your story with maybe him winning an Elimination Chamber. I was fine with Randy if Daniel Bryan won. I was saying how funny or it would have been that Daniel Bryan won with no. Now they give us the Daniel Bryan win with no audience in the crowd, but I would have much rather heard that. And this is one of the parts where, if you're not going to go with Daniel Bryan, then go with someone like Cesaro, who's been grinding for the past 10 plus years in WWE. Go with somebody new. Edge is established. He already won his Rumble. He's had his moment. There was no reason to do this. So I'm not going, it's one thing when there's a wrestler who's been, shoved down our throats that wins it. But in the case of Edge, great comeback story for him. But even Edge, I got to tell it like it is. Edge did not need this Rumble win. He's established. But that's where they're going to go. If this is the route they're going to go, I think the best match at this point, you could put him against Drew McIntyre. That'd be a good match. But I feel like the momentum with Daniel Bryan having lost up to the Rumble and losing this Rumble itself, I just feel that maybe the best story they can tell now would be Edge and his comeback story against Roman. So we'll see where they go from here. Edge wins a Rumble. Not necessary. No disrespect towards Edge, but just not necessary. Rob, I know you had something you want to say about it. Go on. What's your thoughts on the main result here?
No, I 1,000% agree with you. It's just absolutely not necessary for Edge to have won that Rumble. There's so many other people that it could have been any of the up and comers. Like me, I was rooting for what's his face, for Riddle, because he had number 3. I had number 3. I was rooting for Riddle because I'm like, yo, you could build him up. I was waiting for Keith Lee to be in this Rumble, but because I believe he's sick, or with COVID or whatever.
Well, his girlfriend is Mia Yim, who's reckoning on Raw, and I think they may live together. So if he is out, and he's been out for the past couple of weeks too, but if in this case, even if it was due to something else, they by precaution, I imagine they would want to keep Keith Lee out just because he probably lives with her and everything, since that's his girlfriend.
Gotcha. So you see, if the situations were different, I would have been like, give him the Rumble win.
Absolutely.
You're building him up, like I don't see anything with Jason. What's his name? Justin Priest or whatever his name
Damian
is.
Priest.
Damian Priest. He looks like, he reminds me of literally a Puerto Rican Diesel. He reminds me of a Puerto Rican. What's his name? Kevin Nash. Like, he's tall. He has a look, but is he really that good in the ring? I don't
some pretty athletic stuff.
Yeah, but yet again, anybody could do pretty athletic stuff, but are you good in the ring? You know what I'm saying?
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and like me, I'm the type of wrestler that I've been doing it for like 10 plus years, and I'm a very bit about mat wrestling. That's why my favorite wrestlers were Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, like Jushin Thunder Liger, Great Muta. These guys knew how to actually wrestle. That's not flippity dips. They tell stories in the ring. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, there's so many other workers, so many other people in this match. Like, I could just go over the list of people that should have won this. Like Braun Strowman, he could have been it. You could have had AJ Styles win it, or you could have finally given one of the most underutilized wrestlers that you have on your roster, Cesaro. Give him the match, give him it. Baron Corbin, finally build him up to be the ultimate mega heel. But no, there's so many other people that should have deserved this Rumble win, but they gave it to Edge. So I'm hoping that the WWE does something with this win and makes it worth it. And so we're not looking back like, oh yeah, that was a waste of a Royal Rumble, because there's a couple of Royal Rumble winners where we're like, oh, that was a complete waste. Like the Bautista one, we all knew we did not.
Batista himself didn't want it. Batista himself did not want it.
It's like WWE, you literally set yourself up to fail. Like, don't do that to yourselves. There's a factor of, yes, you listen to their fans, to what the fans want, but yet again, long-term booking, put that together. You guys have done it. It's called the entire 80s, the entire Attitude Era up into the Ruthless Aggression Era, to the PG era. Actually, you guys, the WWE knows how to play, how to book, how to do long-term booking, how to get the right emotions out of the fans at the right proper time. But it's just like, I feel like they're starting to rest under their laurels and just become lazy about it. And they're not, they just become hot and cold on who they want to push, who they want to really stand behind. And, that not only deters the product overall, but it deters the value of these actual wrestlers. Because if you see them on TV constantly, start, stop, they're either they're good or they're not. They're good or they're not. When they go somewhere else, what are you thinking of them? oh yeah, that's that person that couldn't cut it, you know? And it hurts their image and it hurts their value as well. So I'm hoping that what the WWE does do is, they take this Edge win and put it into something useful that will actually be beneficial for the overall story, not just a one-off thing, and all of a sudden after Elimination Chamber going to WrestleMania, it becomes a four-way, a fatal four-way. Like, why do we need that then? You could have put Edge anywhere else and gave somebody else the spotlight. So I just hope they don't botch it or mess it up and it actually flourishes to something better.
Yeah, I think the storytelling element is good because Edge's promos have been absolutely fantastic, and that's why I said putting up against Roman, between Roman being this tribal chief at the head of the table and not going to want to let Edge, and it's a fresh matchup between him and Roman, not going to want Edge to come in and say, yeah, you owned SmackDown back in the day, but now I'm the top dog, and then have Edge basically talk about this emotional story about how he wants to make his big comeback. I think that's where the big story is for them, but yeah, we'll see. Last time Edge won the Rumble, he came up short against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. So, and honestly, I don't think Roman should be losing the title right now. I guess they could have Drew lose the title, but I'd rather see somebody else take the title off of Drew. So, yeah, I mean, at least with Edge as an established star, you can have him lose, but it's still like, why not? If you're gonna go with established star, go with Daniel Bryan. He's established and he never won the Royal Rumble, so you got something new. Or go ahead and give it to Cesaro, who's been on the grind for the past 10 years. So, yeah. That being said, Rob, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on to give your perspective, man. I'm glad we were finally able to get this together and do this. Like I say, Rob is an independent professional wrestler, actor, and with what he's had to overcome in his life and everything, and still be here, man. Rob basically is a walking inspiration. So, man, I absolutely mean that from the bottom of my heart and everything, man. So this is the part where I allow everyone to go ahead and plugs. So I will have your plugs in the description and everything, but go ahead. Floor is yours, Rob. Let the people know where they can find you on social media and what you got going on.
Well, first off, I would love to say thank you for having me on. This was an awesome experience. Always wanted to actually talk about wrestling after actual wrestling pay-per-view. So this was a great experience because I listened to I listened to some of your show. I listened to a lot of oh my God, other wrestling podcasts as well, such as John Pollock and Wei Ting. I forgot their show, Post Wrestling, yeah, because they changed their show. And listen to Steve and God damn it, I forgot the other
cosplay.
Yeah, and so I listened to a lot of things. So it's like it's really cool to be able to come on a really cool show by such a person that does know what the hell they're talking about. And on top of that is a big, huge geek, and that means that you're passionate about it and you're actually putting the effort into making it great and putting it out there for people. So that's awesome. So I definitely want to thank you. And if anybody wants to follow me or check me out anywhere, you can just literally go on the interwebs and go on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and all that good stuff. You can check me out at official Rob Fury on all social media at official Rob Fury. Bang, bang.
You will go ahead and see all that in the description below. And that being said, I will, of course, be back for the big shows, WrestleMania, and everybody out there, take care of yourself. Stay safe during this pandemic. Better times await. And with that being said, here is the ending.
Thanks for checking out the video. Remember to share, comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that way you are notified when my content is released. And check out my upcoming short film, Battle of Deception. The trailer link is right there on the screen, in the description, and pinned comment below, along with the links to follow my social media platforms. Until next time, take care.